in which Moyane handled the matter of his former second-in-command, Jonas Mkwakwa, who resigned last week. The president is also concerned about the management of VAT refunds, which he said had brought SARS into serious disrepute and adversely affected tax morality among taxpayers. On the line now, let's talk to former investigative journalist Jacques Pauw. He's also author of that President Keeper's books, who talks quite a bit of Tom Moyane in this book. Jacques, a very, very good morning to you. Are you surprised by the current suspension of SARS Commissioner Tom Moyane? No,
Tom Moyane was definitely on Ramaphosa's hit list, to say it like that. You know, he was appointed by Jacob Zuma in October 2014 without having any tax experience. His highest office in government was that of prison's boss. Now he was a Zuma loyalist, and he stopped the tax investigation into Jacob Zuma. He stopped the tax investigation into the Guptas. He disbanded all 5 investigations units at SARS, leaving the tax service toothless. And he drove a host of dedicated and skilled civil servants from SARS. He failed to collect the taxes of some very notorious criminals. And in the last tax year, SARS reported a 50 billion rand shortfall. Yeah. So Moyane had to go, and he had to go quickly.
Yeah, wasn't easy though. He was refusing to go. I mean, he dug in his heels and absolutely felt like he was going nowhere. At one point, you almost felt like he was untouchable until last night. That was.
Well, he was certainly untouchable under Jacob Zuma. You know, since October 2014, he's virtually destroyed and hollowed out the revenue service, and he was definitely untouchable under Jacob Zuma. But you know, there has been evidence against Moyane now for more than a year that he was complicit in covering up the antics of Jonas Mkwakwa, his second-in-command. And I think by doing that, he opened himself to suspension. You know, the Commissioner of SARS is arguably the most crucial civil servant in South Africa. I mean, this is the organization that has to fill the fiscus, that enable the state to pay out 17 million social grants. So Moyane had to go. He's number 2. Mkwakwa is also gone, and Cyril Ramaphosa can now start rebuilding the tax revenue service.
Yeah. Do you think it is likely that the suspension will lead to more than just disciplinary action, especially from what you've seen and through your investigations?
Certainly. I mean, you know, Corruption Watch has already instituted criminal charges against Moyane, and I think there's a real possibility that he may eventually stand trial. So I think this is only the beginning of Moyane's woes at SARS, and he may, as I say, he may be charged criminally.
Yeah, I mean that would be a very big move. I mean, we had a conversation a bit earlier with Sam Soul in terms of the criminal charges and in terms of the whole issue of state capture, and you know, this being perhaps one of the biggest instigators in state capture when it came to lots of allegations of cronyism. And I mean, you yourself in your book saying that it was Tom Moyane who looked the other way when it came to dodging taxes by our former president Jacob Zuma and his associates, the Guptas, as well.
Absolutely. You know, up to now, President Ramaphosa has made political changes. He hasn't started rebuilding the state institutions as such. And it seems as though SARS is the first one, with number 1 and number 2 gone. I'm sure the next one is going to be the NPA, the State Security Agency, Crime Intelligence, the police. These institutions all have to be rebuilt because they were hollowed out during the during the Zuma reign, and there is very hard work lying ahead for Ramaphosa.
Yeah. What do you make of the Ramaphosa presidency so far? I mean, many people saying that there are three sides to this president of ours. There's the negotiator, which we seeing and have seen in the run-up to his presidency. There's the union man as well. And then, of course, there's that ruthless businessman. Are we seeing the ruthless businessman coming forward now?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are very impatient with Ramaphosa. They want things to be fixed overnight. It cannot be fixed overnight. It's going to be a very long, very difficult process. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, he has to stem the wave of populism in the ANC. He's sitting with an organization that has basically adopted a policy of land redistribution without compensation, which he has to deal with. So he's got so much on his plate that we have to give him an opportunity to get his house in order. It's going to be very difficult to rebuild the law enforcement agencies. It's going to be very difficult to rebuild the crime intelligence and the Hawks, for example. And people must be patient. It's going to take a long time. And I don't think we are suddenly going to see a spate of state-captured trials. We have to give him an opportunity to rebuild these institutions.
Yeah, let's turn our attention to you, because at the end of the day, I mean, you were facing the full wrath of SARS and from Tom Moyane. I mean, in fact, your home was very recently raided by the Hawks. What have been the developments since then? And do you think that with taking Tom Moyane out of the equation, this is going to have any standing on these possible threats against you and also court action that's pending?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. There's two actions from SARS against me. The one is criminal charges, in that I have published taxpayers' information, and the second one is a High Court application that Moyane has brought against me. I'm not sure what the result of that is going to be, but there's also actions from the State Security Agency against me. Now, if you look at the recent charging of former SARS Commissioner Ivan Pillay and top official Johan van Lochrenberg, I think anything can happen. I think there's a possibility that I can be charged. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see whether the new SARS Commissioner wants to go ahead with, for example, with a High Court application against me. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't exclude the possibility of being charged.
All right, Jacques, we leave it there. Thank you for your time, and thanks for talking to us. Jacques Pauw, investigative journalist, president, keeper, author, and also talking to us about his story with regard to SARS and possible court cases against him and criminal investigations against Jacques Pauw. All right, let us now